Hello, I'm Tess from the Arty Crafty Place and thank you for joining me for a block printing project video. In this video I'm going to be showing you how to block print your own Jaipur pattern scarf. Now this design has been created using printing blocks from our new Jaipur collection. This is available as a kit to purchase on our website, or you can purchase the blocks individually and mix and match the designs to create your own pattern. So this design is created using border blocks to print both ends of the scarf. So that creates a really nice pattern on both ends, and then I've used a looser design for the middle of the scarf as I didn't want it to be too heavy with design. So I've used a little embellishment block for the middle but done a really nice patterned border either end. Now I have tried printing this design in several different colourways. I got a bit obsessed with it and just wanted to try it in every colour. So you can see here I've done it in a really beautiful teal, sage and aquamarine, so a more greeny pattern. I also tried it in blue, which looks equally as beautiful. I print everything in blue, so this was definitely one of my favourites. And today I'm going to be showing you how to print it in some pinky colours. So when I was trialling this design, I printed some test piece of paper to try the colours. So that's a really great place to start. You know, you always want to practice your designs and practice your colours. And by printing scraps of paper, I can work out which colours work and don't. So this was the blues that I tried, which was Midnight, Indian Aqua and Indigo. But this actually really stuck with me, and I'm going to print my scarf today in this colourway. So the colours I'm going to be using is Mulberry, Dusky and Rose. So those are three colours that I don't often use, but they're going to look beautiful on this Jaipur pattern scarf. So for this project, I'm going to be using our straight line solid border, our new floral border, this lovely kind of wonky spot design, and then just a little embellishment. So like I said, you can buy these in a set, or if you've got several of these at home already, you can get them individually. So I'm going to set my table up for printing and then we'll get started. So I've laid my scarf on my printing table. I've got my foam mat underneath me as always. I've also put a piece of paper underneath me to catch the paint. I'm going to be printing onto one of our organic fringe scarves, and this is quite a light material so the paint can go through onto your foam mat. So I use a piece of paper to catch any of that excess paint. And then what is important to do is to get your material tight. So I use masking tape to stretch the fabric. You just want it to be taut, no creases in there. And this also stops the scarf moving during the printing process, because that can really affect your print. So you want to spend a bit of time making sure your scarf is all stuck down. There we go. Creases can really affect your printing, so it's definitely worth spending the time making sure it's all flat. Now, before starting this project, I would suggest that you've watched our Practicing with Borders video. That's going to give you some really good tips on how to line up your printing blocks when you're using a repeat pattern, such as the borders, and also how to ensure you're getting really nice straight lines. So do watch our other videos in the Jaipur section. So like I said, I'm going to be using a kind of new set of colours, pinkies. So I'm using our Mulberry, Dusky and Rose. But like I showed you earlier, this scarf works in lots of different colours, so you can totally personalise it to what colours you would like. Now, first of all, we're going to start with our solid straight line. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a row of borders and then I'm going to repeat that again. So I'm going to do 2 rows of borders. And I'm first going to start with my solid line. I really like a solid line at the bottom, kind of really outlines and sets off your design. So for this, I'm going to use a piece of masking tape, like I have in my other videos, to create a straight line. So it's always really important with your ready-made fabric items because they're not always totally square. So, because this is a handmade scarf, it goes in quite a bit at the bottom. So by creating your straight line, you've then got a really good line to follow. If I try and do it by eye, you know, I'm definitely bound to go off. So create your line, and then this is what you're going to print along. So first off, I'm going to print my solid border in mulberry. And as I've shown you in the other videos, the way to print your borders is to touch down the bottom left-hand corner first, and then you can follow along the edge of the masking tape and print your border and give it a good wiggle and then up. And then I'm going to continue this all the way along. So again, touching the bottom left-hand corner to where your previous print was, and then printing along the masking tape. And that's just going to keep you nice and straight. You really want your first row to be as precise as possible, as that's what you're going to be following on from. And then I've got a little gap at the end here. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to use a little bit of masking tape to catch the paint that goes off the edge. And then I'm just going to print a little bit in the corner. And there we go. So I've got my lovely first straight line. Now, next up on the pattern, we have this beautiful flower border. So using my masking tape, I'm going to create another straight line. And I'm going to put this masking tape on top of my last print. You don't need to worry about it smudging, but I'm going to use that and create a new straight line to follow. Like I said, it's really important with a border block that you've got a perfectly straight line. It really helps get that precision with your printing, and it really helps your repeat match up. If you're wonky, it's very hard to connect the patterns each time. So again, bottom left-hand corner down and along. Give it a good wiggle. This is quite a big design, this one, so it needs a good wiggle and then up. And then I'm just going to adjust my scarf, making sure that it's flat. And then touching that bottom left-hand corner down and following my masking tape. It's really a good technique to learn printing borders, and it does need a bit of practice. You just need to make the mistakes, and then you'll know how to do it differently and better next time. But I do find that touching the bottom corner down first really helps and gives you time to line it up, because you're doing it all by eye, so you want to take your time. And then the last bit, I've got my masking tape to catch the excess paint, and then up. Lovely. And then the next stage of the pattern is this dot design. So I'm going to print that all the way along in my rows. So first I used mulberry, then I used dusky, and now I'm using rose. And these are 3 new designs from our Jaipur collection, and they're all designs that we found when we were printing in India, in Jaipur. So it's lovely to now have them to play with back home. So I'm printing a row. And then on this last bit, I can't quite fit a whole other row in, but what I can do is just ink up 2 of the spots, and I can print them. There we go. So that is the first bit of my border done. I'm then going to repeat this again, as I want the design to go further up the scarf. So I'm going to create this again higher up. So you're going to need another bit of masking tape to create your straight line, same as before. Right, now I've taken all the tape off, you can really see that beautiful pattern. And I'm just going to remove my paper from underneath. You can see how much paint has gone onto there, so it's definitely worth having that underneath. If I put it back under so you can see the design, that's come out really beautifully. So if you wanted the design to go higher up the scarf, you could repeat this again. But for me, I'm going to print this on the other end as well, and then I'll show you where I've got to. So I've now printed both ends of my scarf, so I've just got the middle bit which is plain at the moment. Now I quite like a more heavy design on either end and then something loose and flowing in the middle, because once you've got it wrapped around your neck as the way you wear a scarf, you won't see the pattern in the middle. On one of my previous scarves I used a large paisley. So this was really beautiful, but I actually want to go one step further and use something even smaller. So I have picked a small embellishment block. It's just a little circle with some dots around, so a small flower. And I'm going to use this to print randomly all through the middle of the scarf. I don't need to worry about spacing. I can just dot these randomly around. I probably will do less at first and then step back and see if I want to add any more. But that will give me a really nice pattern throughout the white section of the scarf. So I'll print this all over and then I'll show you the finished item. So I have now printed my small little flower block all over my scarf and I'm absolutely thrilled with the outcome. You can see it's just really nicely filled in the white space with something quite delicate that's going to work, and you'll still be able to see it when the scarf is wrapped around. So this needs about 5 minutes to be left to dry, and then you can heat set it as normal and then you can wear it and wash it. So as you can see, here is my beautiful finished scarf. So this is the one I did earlier in my greens, which is aquamarine, sage and teal. But it looks absolutely fantastic on, and I love how I've got the dense design at either end and then the loose kind of delicate design in the middle. And you can see that this can totally be personalised with your own colours and also different designs. You don't have to use the designs that I've used. You can try a series of different borders as well. So hopefully that's inspired you to have a go at printing one of your own Jaipur scarves. You can find all the items that I've used available on our website. Thanks very much for watching.